first thing you want to do is head over to the spy station. In case you didn't know, this is the final area of the game and your last chance to buy or sell anything. Here, get rid of anything that you don't need and any other items that you still need to sell that you've been holding on to. Next up, scroll through your weapons and figure out what weapon you have that does the most damage. For me, the best two options were the riot gun and the skunk gun. And then I went to town. I spent all the money that I had and I started to buy shells for the riot gun and then the skunk gun as my secondary. The fight is going to get a little chaotic, so I would advise you to only focus on two weapons, as swapping to multiple weapons during the fight is most certainly going to get you killed. As I just mentioned, again for me it was the skunk gun and the riot gun, so I started to go to town to printing riot gun ammo. Once you've concluded your shopping, you're going to move into the next hallway. The boss fight takes place in a big circular area, and as you enter the next room, you're coming in from the left hand side. Think about splitting an orange into two segments, left and right. What you want to do here, you want to go down the left hand side, the left hallway, and collect all the free items that's in this hallway. The reason we do this now is because it's an absolute nightmare trying to collect items while the boss fight is happening. Once you've done all that, we're actually going to return to step 1. And again, we're going to sell all the items that you don't need. This might sound counterintuitive, but getting rid of your big heals is actually a good idea should you be low on ammo, because as you'll see momentarily, it is very hard, if not nearly impossible, to get off a full heal in the boss fight. As you now know at this stage in the game, a big heal takes forever to execute, so don't worry, there is a workaround to get health, which we'll get into, but don't be afraid to sell your full medkits. One of the things that is fairly useful in the boss fight is having additional batteries for your grip or your kinesis. I would recommend having 1 or 2 of these in your inventory. So again, once you've cleaned up and you have what you need, your inventory should be looking pretty tidy between ammo for your main 2 weapons, your main primary, your main secondary, and a couple of batteries. Now in this run, I was actually an idiot. I didn't purchase batteries. I should have. I just went straight with what I had, but in retrospect, the fight would have definitely been easier if I did have 1 or 2 batteries in my inventory also. Alright, once your inventory is looking good and wrapped up, let's head into the fight. Once we head through the door, we interrupt the warden's eyes wide shut meeting. I guess we should have knocked.
Well, 5, 2, 1.
And so phase 1 of the last battle starts. Let's show this dude who the real alpha is. The first phase of the fight is pretty straightforward. It just requires some dodging and then getting ready when you get the cue to use your weapon. If you had watched my dodging video, you'll know how easy it is to evade attacks. Again, you can preemptively hold. I'll put a card up for the video, go ahead and watch that. It's only a minute and you'll know how to stay out of harm's way. So once we beat on him for a couple of rotations, he then goes Super Saiyan on us. And once he reaches his final form, the final battle is upon us. Melee is completely useless on this boss fight because of the boss being impervious to melee, and again I think he can only take damage in his head, that's the idea. Your main strat here looks like follows. You want to kite this guy around the edges of the circular environment. As you'll charge after you, he will then give you a cue or a voice cue or a scream that he stopped chasing you, and that is your moment to punish him. Either by throwing him with the explosive canisters, as so, or by shooting him in the face. Be careful if you try to shoot, he's one hell of a shot, and again, we don't really want to take the extra damage. He's gonna one-shot you regardless if you get close to him, but when we move into phase 2, you'll see why you want to keep your health as high as possible. As you're kiting him and running away, make sure to pick up as much health as you can along the way. It might be the difference between life and death. Also be careful of picking up any ammo along the way, as the pickup animation could also mean your demise. So once you've done enough damage to him by shooting him or kiting him and throwing the explosive canisters at him, he'll hit phase 2 and you'll summon the screamy exploding boys. Think of them like banelings. You have 2 ways to deal with them. Either pick them up and throw them at him like an additional gas canister, which is the preferred way, but they can also swarm you. Or if they're too close, shoot them, they'll explode the rest of their fellow little friends if they're in proximity, and they will drop you additional items. Again, if you do not have enough health or enough ammo at this point, this is your only way to get a few scraps. Remember how I said before that at the buy station it might be a good idea to get some extra batteries? Well, this is why. In the phase where the little guys are spawned, if you run out of battery, you have no option but to shoot them. I have had instance too where I gripped one, ran out of battery, it dropped in front of me, and before I could shoot it, kaboom, that was all she wrote. So again, shoot them at range or throw them at him if you're in the clear. And that's it. Keep kiting, listen for the sound cue, and then it's your time to deal some damage. If there's canisters close, pick it up and throw it at him, or use your weapon. The best strat that I found looks like this. You want to kite him, we want to stay close to a wall, we're listening for the sound cue, we then turn around and blast him, and when he shoots, we use the wall as cover, we don't take any damage, we hit him again, and we repeat. This is the most optimum way to do damage and to not take damage while we're waiting for him to spawn the little guys. The boss, I believe, has 4 phases. Once you've completed this 4 times successfully with the spawning of the little explodey dudes, he's done. And that's it. That's everything that you need to know. It will take you a couple runs. Go show this guy who the real alpha is.